Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EV show by Ludicrous Feed. Today is the 1st of May, 2024. We are back, Riz and I, after a week's break. Looking forward to chatting with you all once again. Riz, how are we this evening?
Yeah, going well, Tom. Good to be on. Lots to chat about, and I'm sure we'll get to learn a lot about what's been happening. There's a lot happening in Sydney, in particular. Um,
That's
you'll share more about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll get onto that very shortly. But Riz, we don't call you Hollywood Riz for no reason. Where are you broadcasting from this evening?
I'm actually broadcasting from Bonza Airlines headquarters on the Gold Coast.
So
Here for
that means
some.
you're never coming home then?
No, I'm here for some special meetings. Catching up with everyone that lives in Sanctuary Cove, where quite a few of the let's just say registered Rolls-Royce Spectres are based. Obviously, the management at Bonza have been spending money on Spectres instead of actually keeping the planes up. So I'm just here to resolve a couple of things, but I'll be back down in Melbourne very soon.
Very good, Riz. Well, you are where you belong with all the other high net worth individuals of this world. But look, thank you so much for taking time out to join us this evening. Should be a good show to chat with our guests, with our audience this evening.
Should be fun.
Before we kick off, let's thank our sponsors as always. We've got Carloop, of course. Our co-host Riz is the founder of. If you want data for EVs, that's where you want to go, Carloop. And of course, Koba Car Insurance. They recently launched their EV-specific product, so make sure you check them out. Links are in the video description below, as always. Riz, let's say hello to our members as always. So, hello, Leon. Nice to see you. Yes, we've been away a week, Riz, but it seems like so much has happened in the last 2 weeks. It just seems like we can't take a week off, Riz. Like, there's so much happening. We just got to be there every week for you guys.
It's the way it's turning out now. So yeah, good to see everybody pretty excited about it all.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron, for being a new member. Appreciate it. Hello, Elizabeth. Nice to see you. Yes, we'll get onto Cybertruck very shortly. Yes, hello there, H2 Rider. Hello, Rob S. We missed you as well last week. Hello, Steve P. from Bateau Bay. Hello, Oz Screamer from Canberra. Hello, Tazzy Thylacine from Hobart. Hello, Sensei. I'm seeing his messages around. Thank you. And he's asking us to support the channel. That's very kind of you. Hello, Lewis. Yes, we do have a tweet about the F-150 Lightning very shortly too, so stay tuned. Nice of you to join us. Hello, SWS from Newbeath, Queensland. Hello, Wayne from Toowoomba. Hello, Gaffer. Hello, Jason from Mid-North Coast, New South Wales. Hello, Stan from Kangaroo Island. I've got a picture from you very shortly as well. Hello, Rob S. from the Surf Coast of Victoria. Hello, Jono X. Hello, Jason. Hello, Terry. Lots of members joining us. Hello, JD Media and Music from the South Coast of Victoria. We've missed you as well. Hello, Jasper from Catherine, Northern Territory. What a wide audience there is. All over Australia, all over the world. So good. Hello, Adam from Melbourne. Hello, Kenny Timms. Oh, Rob S. has been a member for 5 months. Congratulations.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Charles is on. Hello, Charles. Nice to see you as well. All right. Well, hello, Richard, as well. Special hello to Richard. All right. Yeah, Riz, we really need to talk about the elephant in the room, and it is really quite a big elephant, this thing. This is, of course, the Tesla Cybertruck. How could we forget what's happened last week in Sydney? I think it was Friday when people started spotting the Cybertruck around Sydney, and they had to rub their eyes and double take to make sure they weren't seeing things. I think it was spotted first on Thursday night, maybe. Tesla AU Instagram account might have posted something like a container.
Well, that's where it sort of started out. And then, yeah, Friday, a couple of images and videos started to emerge of the truck itself before I think it's residing in Alexandria for the time being.
That is correct. So if you want an up-close video or shot of the Cybertruck, I did do a video this week, went out to Alexandria at the new Tesla Sydney showroom on Gardeners Road for those local to Sydney. Have a look at that for yourself if you are nearby. But this is the Cybertruck doing its thing, captured, I assume, by a Model 3 or Model Y owner around the streets of Sydney. This is near Potts Point or King's Cross, I think, from memory. And look, it does fit on the roads. It's pretty wide, but Sydney streets aren't narrow, so that's something.
It's huge.
Yeah. And then we've got some more shots of it spotted in North Sydney next. So this is the interior of the Cybertruck with the rear screen. That's the front row. A lot of curious onlookers looking on. Front of the Cybertruck. A lot of people commented that it didn't fit in the parking spot in North Sydney. Admittedly, North Sydney is a very narrow area. There it is, taking up 1.5 spots almost. Now, this is a left-hand drive vehicle, Riz. So obviously this won't be available for test drives, but it is doing a roadshow around Australia. It's not staying in Sydney. We've got dates for Sydney. I think it's going to Alexandria, Miranda, Parramatta, and Chatswood in the next 4 weeks. And then there'll be other dates in Melbourne released shortly. So don't fear anyone not in Sydney. They'll be coming to Melbourne as well. And think hopefully Brisbane too. Can't remember exactly
I think
where.
they said Australia and New Zealand, so we'll find out.
Yeah. And I saw a tweet today too that it's going to Europe and the Middle East. I'm so glad, Riz, that Australia and New Zealand got to see this in person before Europe. So happy times. That's good. And of course, Riz, you're a big fan, and so is I think this is an NBA player who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, look, everybody wants one, and apparently it's just part of what's needed. Pre-court attire is what you rock up in. It's like I said, it's just the famous vehicle for famous people. And speaking of famous things, Tom, do we have an update on the Spectre?
Yes, so I just checked my diary and it is, I think, due for the late May, so it won't be till the end of this month. But I still have the Spectre on the cards for review and test just for one day. So that'll be coming soon on Ludicrous Feed. So stay subscribed, stay watching the stream. We'll keep you up to date at this stage. But Riz, I don't have the Spectre this week, but I do have, believe it or not, the Toyota BZ4X on my driveway at the moment. Can you believe that?
Well, some call it the Japanese Spectre. So since you've got it there, I guess you can, we'll look forward to seeing what you actually think of that vehicle, since Toyota's been kind enough to loan one out.
I know, I couldn't believe when, look, thank you Toyota actually for loaning me this vehicle. I couldn't believe they actually loaned it for me. I mean, we're not the most Toyota friendly on this stream, so I was a bit cautious and a bit anxious about asking, but they were kind enough to loan it to me. And look, it's not terrible. Let me just say that, first impressions. It's kind of in the middle of all the EVs I've ever reviewed. It's kind of in the middle, right? It's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's not bad for Toyota's first effort. So that's all I can say for now. Full review coming soon, so stay tuned, everyone. Yeah, cool. So let's take some comments real quick. So Richard's saying, Riz, I want to volunteer to drive it down from Sydney to Melbourne. I mean, I wouldn't mind that either. I wouldn't mind hopping in the back, if it can do the trip, of course.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what their restrictions are on the license plate they've got, the registration, the Queensland registration they've got on the truck itself. But if Richard means to drive the BZ4X from Sydney to Melbourne, then Tom, you've got to ask Toyota.
Yeah, don't worry. You definitely drive the Toyota. I think it'll be fine. But the thing about the Cybertruck is, though, Riz, it's a left-hand drive vehicle, so it's probably got the North American plug, right? NACS. We don't have those chargers here in Australia, so how would it do a road trip? It probably wouldn't, right? It'd be on the back of a trailer going down to Melbourne, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the conversion is, or whether they have anything like that in terms of a adapter of some sort. But yeah, probably not. Maybe it will be on the back of a truck or on a big barge.
Yeah, that's right. One of those electric ferries, maybe I've seen around on X. Look, this is a funny comment from Gaffer. Here we go. He said, I walked in the door and told reception I was here to see the Cybertruck. They asked, would you like to book a test drive? I did a huge double take. They meant the other Teslas. What a shame, Gaffer. You almost had them. So I think over the weekend at Alexandria, they opened the doors for everyone to sort of look in, but no touchy. But when I was there, they were definitely locked, those doors. So I think Tesla don't trust their own staff, because you know what's going to happen after hours. It'll be zipping down Gardner's Road and onto the M5, I reckon. Yeah, so good call. All right, so Wayne's saying BZ4X costs as much as the Spectre. Not that much, but it is quite expensive for what it is, I've just got to say. Kangaroo Island stands saying, I'm picking up a BZ4X in Adelaide next week to bring back to Kangaroo Island to test it for a week. Oh, fantastic. Excellent. Cool. Good. Like to see that. Costs too much to ship it. Just drive it, Gaffer. Yeah, again, the charging issue comes up. You've got to charge a Cybertruck somewhere. Apparently there is a CCS2 and a CS adapter. Apparently, okay, interesting. Well, that's not true. All the old S and X still have a Type 2. It's a specialized Type 2, actually. It's not an NACS plug. I've got evidence of that. I've actually got a Model S, which has got an older... Well, it's got a Type 2. It's a specialized Type 2. So that's not quite right. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's an adapter. I wouldn't mind seeing that too, actually. All right, let's keep going. And, Riz, let's get on to sort of local news at the moment. So... yeah, we sort of, with all the Cybertruck news, we've sort of overlooked the fact that Tesla has been slashing prices in Australia, making it the best-selling EV for a second time in a month. This is kind of older news, but with the cheaper prices, Tesla's become very compelling once again.
Yeah, it appears that way, but there's many more other products from other manufacturers, Kia EV5. Not saying that Cherry or Moda E5 is comparable, but there are more affordable products coming into the market. So, I guess cheaper prices are a good thing, particularly, those that are looking at buying their first new EV.
Yeah, I mean, it's a significant drop. I think now the Model 3 is under $60,000, like before on-road costs. I mean, that's probably a product of the fact that the EV rebates were slashed in Victoria and New South Wales, right? I mean, it's probably what without the rebates, is it comparable now? It's the price drop.
Yeah, but then you think about what's going to happen in Queensland. It's a very affordable car. Maybe I should buy one when I've finished meeting with Bonza executives. But yeah, it's in some states it's obviously a lot more affordable, but at the same time, they're some of the cheapest, particularly for Model Y and Model 3 actually. Model Y is the cheapest it's ever been. Model 3 is very close, I think.
I mean, this is a crazy price. Model Y rear-wheel drive, $60,000. I looked at my invoice from a year ago when we bought our Model Y. It was at least $10,000 more, and that's like with the rebate as well.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like, sure, it's going to devalue everyone's Model Y, but the fact that it can help people get into a Model Y now for $60,000, it suddenly makes some of the other EVs on the road a bit less compelling, right? So, when you can get a Model Y with all the tech and all the software that Tesla offers, it's hard to go by.
And then at the same time, I think, with the BYD Atto 3 currently still going on a bit of a run out, now they've got it sort of priced at, what is it?
45,
under 47,000 drive away?
Yeah, let's share this one. So this is the email I got today. They're doing this run out dealer demonstration event all over Australia. They're offering $45,990 drive away for an Atto 3. By the way, this is not a paid ad. We're just saying it's like the prices are crazy at the moment. And then WA $47,990. So I mean that's incredible, really. Drive away. That's what $6,000 cheaper than what it was.
Yeah, pretty big drop.
Yep. I mean, I think Riz, everyone's got a price, right? They've got to get rid of these cars, so they'll have to eventually keep cutting. They've got to get rid of the stock, because otherwise the 2024 cars, they just won't appear in the country.
And that's the thing, and we've probably got a couple of things to talk about the 2024 model cars from BYD later on in the stream.
Yep, absolutely. Let's take this comment from Paul. Thank you for the $5 super chat. So Paul asks, what happened to Australian superchargers now that the whole charging department and everyone has been sacked? Okay, let's hold that off for 1 sec. I've got that later in the show, Paul. So good question though. There was news today that yes, Elon Musk has possibly let go of a lot of people en masse from the supercharging team. So hang on to that thought. We will get back to you very shortly. Yes, so yep, Mark's saying Model Y. People in Queensland can now get one that isn't white and still get the rebate. Oh, how good is that? That's great. And I think it's a means test, $180,000 for $6,000 off, something like that.
Yeah, it is around about $6,000. So yeah, really crazy prices in Queensland for EVs. But I guess anyone that is looking at potentially purchasing one up here, you've got to be a resident, and I'm sure there's many other things that's a bit of a criteria off the back of that. I wonder if given that the Cybertruck has Queensland number plates, I wonder if that got the rebate as well, because for all intents and purposes. Having said that, I think Tesla's figured out, for whatever reason, that Queensland registration allows them to do a lot more. There must be some sort of a loophole there, because they did the same thing when the refresh Model S and X were being tested in the country for a while. They obviously never made it here, but the left-hand drives were being tested. So yeah, interesting to see.
Well, that's the point I was going to talk about, Riz. Like, there's precedent for brands bringing cars to Australia for testing or even showcasing without actually releasing it to the wild. So is Cybertruck an example? I mean, there's so much conjecture and controversy about whether this car will actually make it onto Australian roads. Like, a lot of people are saying, well, it's here, it's being displayed, so surely they're going to launch it. But then again, it could just be a roadshow, right? It just could be a display car. That's all it ever will be. It's hard to know.
Well, think of it this way. It's gone on a bit of a roadshow where one of our viewers snapped a few shots of it in Tokyo, in Japan. Japan's known for its little K cars. Would a Cybertruck ever fit in there? I don't think it would ever go there. So look, at this stage, it's a walking or driving parked whatever billboard of all sorts. And if Tesla can attract people into the showrooms with it, then I guess kudos to them. But yeah, I don't think it's. Last thing I wrote on the Driven a couple of weeks ago, they're sold out of production for all of 2024. So,
Okay.
There seems to be, the waiting list in just the left-hand drive countries, just North America, it's like over 1 million orders. That's going to take them 4 years.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, but I'm curious to know what's going to happen. You're right. There's no way that car will fit in Japan. Having been there myself, lanes are way too narrow in some places, even some of the major roads. So, yeah, I think that's probably where it will stay. Nick, thank you for the $10 super chat. Can't wait to see the Cybertruck in Chatswood showroom on Monday. Oh, okay, that's where it's going next week. So excellent. Chatswood is like probably peak Tesla in Sydney. Like, there's so many Teslas around the North Shore. It's crazy. So yes, if it's in Chatswood, I think they'll be packed. The Tesla guys in Alexandria said that it was just crazy on the weekend. It was swamped with people wanting to see it. So it's definitely turning heads, getting tongues wagging as well. Thank you, Grandpa, for the $2 super chat. Thank you, whoever gifted me membership. Thank you very much. And I want to congratulate Terry as well. I just want to see. Here we go. Terry Seaton says got his 2024 seal, BYD seal on Saturday. Congratulations, Terry.
Hey.
That's great news. We'll talk about the seal very shortly for some very interesting news as well. So Riz, I think this might be old news, but that's okay. We have missed a week, so let's talk about it just really quickly. Of course, the Tesla Model 3 Performance launched as well. You can now order one, I think 80,000, something like that in Australia, starting at, so that's pretty good. There's some of the specs there as well. Better acceleration, of course, better suspension, good track mode as well. So I'm looking forward to testing that one day when it arrives here. And there it is there, close look up of the production Tesla Model 3. Some of the differences there. I think this is different too, this front grille, or this front air intake area here. And different wheel covers, different alloys as well. You can see, that's pretty cool. And looks like Singapore is getting it, or is already here in Singapore. There's a quick video of it there in the rain. Very tropical, very Singaporean. Nice seats as well. Okay, let's move on to the Atto 3. So we talked about that. It's now cheaper, $8,000 cheaper, according to Cars Guide, with the price slash. And now this was curious too, Riz. So this week there was an interesting article from The Driven. Thanks to Jason, I think one of our viewers who tagged this for the feed. So yeah, BYD moves away from MyCar servicing to take maintenance in-house. I think the new CEO, David Smitherson, might have mentioned that's what they wanted to, or at least he alluded to it during the article.
Yeah, so I think I did have a sort of. So this was written by the team at Drive, and I did have a follow-up with people at BYD or EV Direct, and it's I think the comments were taken out of context, and MyCar is still a very big part of servicing for, I guess, BYD or EV Direct in Australia. So I think the best way to know where you can service your BYD is on BYD Automotive's website, and if they've got MyCar listed there, those centers will still be able to service, BYD out of a 3 Seal or a Dolphin.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with Drive. Like, it sort of confuses the picture if that is not indeed the entire truth. So it certainly did blindside some people from MyCar as well. So Jason's saying that Jason from MyCar said they're still going to be busy working with BYD, but BYD wants to do more in-house at their own service centers as well. So it's kind of this mixed hybrid model for servicing, as well as dealership with Eagers and whatnot. So yeah, I think BYD is very much still can be serviced at a MyCar location. That's definitely not off the cards. So I'm going to clarify that as well. And Oscar makes a good point. They don't have enough showrooms or service centers not to use MyCar. Very, very true. Okay, so that's clarified. So let's talk about the Seal. Okay, so this is a big topic at the moment, I think, amongst the BYD community here in Australia and probably worldwide too. So for those who don't know, the BYD Seal and the BYD Atto 3, at least up till March 2024 build, cannot charge at a V3 or V4 Tesla Supercharger as it stands. But we have evidence, and I've seen this online in the last week or so, that the new builds from, I guess, March 2024 onward, there are a couple of examples where the BYD Seals can charge from a V3 site, which is good news, Riz, because this has been an issue up to this point.
Yeah, I think it's good to see that there is progress after we sort of first raised it, probably in September last year when Tesla did open up their superchargers to non-Teslas. This photo is at a charger in Victoria and Corio, where I think Kate was able to get a successful charge out of a recently delivered Seal. This was another gentleman that did the same thing at Mornington. So it's starting to happen. There was a bit of confusion whether it was software or hardware upgrades, but it appears to be more hardware. Otherwise, in the last couple of software updates, some things could have changed, but we haven't seen that because, Tom, I think you have the latest software and it still didn't work when you tried it at Raymond Terrace.
That's correct. So this is my little short, which I won't play, but it's all over my socials. But yeah, I've got the 2401 update, which is the latest software update. Still didn't work at Raymond Terrace, which is a V4 supercharger, which is a shame because the V4 plugs and cables are long enough to basically charge any EV. So this is something that they've got to get on top of very shortly. Before there was evidence this happened, in fact, Rich here is saying, hey, that's me. Worth mentioning is that Kate, also mentioned in the article, was the first to discover that the Seal could charge on V3, V4. Without her randomly testing it, we would not have known. So thank you, Kate and Rich, for doing this.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. But so before this happened, like there were a lot of finger pointing. I think anecdotally speaking, like BYD saying it was Tesla's problem, Tesla saying BYD was at fault. So now that we've got the Seal charging, as you said, Riz, we're not sure whether it's still a software or hardware issue. If it's a software fix, that'd be fantastic. It's just a quick update. But if it's a hardware fix, I guess now it becomes an issue of whether BYD is going to warrant a replacement, right? So that's what I'm curious about in the next few weeks to months.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out what that sort of remedy is to this particular problem, because it enables hundreds of charge points, reliable charge points for drivers. And then there comes the point of, 12 to 14,000 vehicles that have been delivered in the country that I guess aren't able to charge, and we're excluding Dolphins because they can charge. So it's a bit of a funny one. Like, I'm not sure what the difference in hardware is, and I think there's been reports out of I think Germany and other parts that BYD Seals are charging okay, but it appears they have 11 kilowatt AC charging. So there's different variants or different specification of vehicles in different parts of the world. One other point worth noting is that the reason why a BYD Atto 3 has not yet seen to charge at these charges is probably because they're still running out the 2023 model cars. So we are yet to see 2024 deliveries of the new model. So, that would be another sort of pivotal point to see what's actually changed.
Yeah. So I'm going to appeal to anyone with a new BYD seal. If you could charge your car with a 3-phase charger, and just tell me whether you get 11 kilowatts, because the guys in Europe and the girls in Europe who can charge at a V3, V4 supercharger can also get 11 kilowatts AC charging as well. So which tells me it's probably a hardware issue, because Jason's saying that yeah, I think it's a bit confusing. So it's not quite FWC version 2401. Like, I've got the software version 2401. FWC is very different. And I think that's where it's confusing, because it's different firmware versions for different parts of the car. So this is where I think BYD might need to come forward and help us out here and clarify things. So anyway, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on this story. I think it's a developing one, Riz. So awesome. All right, let's keep pushing on because we are seeing more chargers in Australia. So Riz, your article again, Australian EV fast charging boom. More than 930 sites now open after first quarter surge.
Yeah, quite a few sites have sort of come up in the first 3 months of the year. There's just appears to be that thing that we had, 12, 18 months ago, not enough chargers, not enough chargers. And it appears that with larger sites like 12, 16 stall Tesla sites, them being open to non-Teslas, also EV networks, ChargeFox, some of the localized networks like the one with RAA and in WA as well, with the WA EV highway as well. Everything's sort of starting to come together now. So it's good news for EV drivers.
Yeah, that's right. So this is what you're talking about, Riz, the fact that there was a huge surge in the last 2 or 3 years. I guess a lot of sites were in development in that time, and now we're starting to see the fruits of that, which is great. So this is, I guess, you've got Tesla down in red, and then public up here, and total cumulatively. Are these just locations, or is this like stalls?
These are actual locations, and in terms of the stalls themselves, there's 1,664 charging stalls.
We mustn't forget too that Tesla does the bulk of the heavy lifting here in Australia. Like, you might see one, like, less Tesla sites, but each site is got at least 3, 4, sometimes 12, as we saw at Raymond Terrace. So it's good. I mean, this is kind of why we can't let Tesla fail with their charging. So I don't know what's happening with the recent layoffs in the US, but I guess we might as well chat about now. So implications for the Tesla supercharger network in Australia with these layoffs.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I spoke to a couple of people today from Tesla Energy. I know they're not Tesla charging. Even they seemed a little bit like, hey, I'm not sure what's going on. But at the same time, there's been a lot of changes in the last couple of weeks at Tesla. So who knows? But at the same time, I think I wrote a story for The Driven just over a month ago. They were hiring more supercharger deployment of sort of managers in Australia. So I don't think things would slow down here in Australia off the back of, I guess, them making the head of charging redundant. But who knows? Maybe there's a whole lot of reshuffling going around that we just don't know anything about, and maybe it will all make sense in the coming weeks.
Yeah, look, I think that's probably it. Surely, like any business, right? During leaner times, like what's happening now, there are certainly less sales. It's not a secret. You gotta slim down a bit. Maybe it's matured now. They've got enough staff. Who knows? Maybe it's a bit more, I guess, higher up driven rather than being on the ground, rather than sort of grunt work. Who knows? I'm not sure. Maybe it's going offshore. Maybe it's going to China. Maybe it's going to Asia for a lot of this stuff. I'm not sure.
Could be. Hey, just quickly on this story. I know a car expert. Obviously, they're very pro EV people. Our friends there.
Yes.
They. I think, Tom, you were at the Model 3, the refreshed launch, and at that time, you in Sydney, I think they had the gentleman's name was maybe Daniel Ho.
Oh yes.
he's part of the people that's gone.
Oh, is he really?
So he's one of those along with Rebecca, who was leading the charging. He's sort of also been made redundant. So I wonder what's going to happen. Maybe he can come back to Australia and tell us all about it here on Ludicrous Feed.
I'll tell you what, I think it's time to give him a call and get him as a guest. He can now spill the beans now that he's not a Tesla employee. I'm gonna actually reach out to him next week. Daniel, if you're watching, because I know you've seen my content, so you know where to find me. But yeah, that's very interesting, Riz. I mean, he was pivotal for the Model 3 development back in the day, and recently again with the Highland update. So yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
Look, if our friends, the car expert, are listening, they're probably about to write another headline off the back of Tesla to potentially cancel the Model 3 program now that the lead development Australian guy is no longer there.
Oh no! Oh dear. Yeah. Okay. How's saying Daniel's probably going to be an NDA for at least a year on gardening leave. Fair enough. Okay, we'll try. It's not always worth trying. Yeah, that is the cost of business. You know, people have to go sometimes, and it is what it is. But hopefully it doesn't affect Tesla's rollout here in Australia with the current plan anyway.
I haven't seen anything otherwise, in the sense that, with the Raymond Terrace site sort of open, there's a couple more in the works. There's a fair few in Queensland that are co-funded by the state government. I think that, that stuff is already way far into planning and for deployment for this news to have any impact. I mean, Rebecca, who was leading the Tesla charging team, she announced a deal with BP, buying Tesla hardware.
Oh yes.
And she was also involved in or at least from a public relations point of view, in the EG Group's deal with Tesla charging hardware. And EG Group started to roll them out in the UK. And BP is probably going to be following soon as well. So yeah, I think maybe it's some sort of a shakeup. Maybe they're trying to bring a lot of those things into centralized teams. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the generic Tesla supercharger stores that third-party places are selling, or at least installing in their place, in their forecourt or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we can't let this fail, because Tesla. This is what differentiates Tesla. It's the supercharger network. I mean, that's why I bought a Tesla back in the day. I still have a Model Y because of this network. And it's so easy to plug in and charge. It's ridiculous compared to everything else. Even when a non-Tesla EV charges at a Tesla supercharger site, it's not as easy. So this has to be one of the pillar stones for Tesla's development. And it's like the gold standard for EV charging. It's ridiculous. But just back on Raymond Terrace, Riz, I mean, for me, from all the supercharger sites I've seen, like this, for me, the Raymond Terrace site is almost like the gold standard now. I use that word a lot, but this is it. Like, it's covered. There's a canopy for all 12 sites. The cables are long enough. There's room for like RFID tapping with the credit card eventually one day, I'm assuming. They're V4 stalls, V3 cabinets. It's like, in the same car park as the shops. There's an amenities in there, 24-hour location for the charging stall. So hopefully this is the prototype for sort of supercharger and DC charging sites in the future.
Just quickly on that one, Tom. So that's open to non-Teslas, which is one of the reasons why you were trying to charge the seal there. Since I've been on my little adventure up in Queensland at the moment, I've finally managed to get I know it's not a Spectre, but a Polestar 2 from Hertz.
Yes.
And I've been using one of the supercharger sites here on the Gold Coast. And my takeaway is it's not always as expensive as people think.
Okay.
I was charging yesterday at about 4:30 p.m. and 62 cents a kilowatt hour for charging a non-Tesla.
Interesting. Because it's time-based, is it?
It is a time-based site, but that's how much I sort of charged at that. 4:30, which is supposed to be a busier time, people coming back. And just before the stream, I popped out to charge again, and it was 62 cents again. So I don't know whether you get a discount for owning a Tesla vehicle while using the app to charge a non-Tesla, but 62 cents. It's not the 80, 85 cents at this particular site. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe Tesla is reducing prices at some sites for non-Teslas.
Okay, that's very weird because last I checked, it was about 85 cents for Raymond Terrace for non-Tesla EVs as well. Very strange.
Hmm.
Okay, maybe it is location based. Maybe it's time based. Maybe it's Riz based. You know, they saw you coming. I thought, oh, VIP. I mean,
Anything's possible.
ah, dear. I just want to put this comment up here. So, speaking of charging stations from Varun, the ChargeFox app now shows percentage charged and the time for which a vehicle is plugged in for all types of chargers. Helps decide whether to wait or not at the location. That's interesting. Okay, so as in the stalls are now showing the cars percentage charged, and also when it was plugged in. I like that.
Yeah, so it sort of says something along the lines of, and it's particularly useful for DC chargers. It says, hey, the car is 37% and it was plugged in 6 minutes ago. So, whereas someone that is at 98% or 100% has been waiting there or has been plugged in for 3 hours or whatever. I'm not sure what the limits are, but it's good to know. The only thing that would make it better is if somehow the ChargeFox app showed it in car. Obviously, you have to, if you're driving around, you can't really see that unless you open the app to see who is there. But when you pull up at that charge and you want to know how long that car has been charging there for, and whether they're about to go or not, or they're about to return to their car, then I think that's a good feature to have.
Yeah, it certainly allows for more accountability and transparency. Well, we know that Google Maps has got the charging data from ChargeFox, and I think EV as well. So I wonder whether we can have that integrated with Google as well, having this transparency going on. So it's a good progress anyway from ChargeFox. So hats off to you guys for doing that. That's good. Now, Kangaroo Island stands asking you, Riz, did you have a Tesla membership for that pricing?
No, well, I have never purchased anything apart from having my own cars, but I don't know. Maybe they're giving anyone that's interested. It's Runaway Bay. If you look up on your Tesla app what the price is, maybe someone in the audience can check it out for us, and maybe in their app it will tell them, hey, it's 62 cents or whatever it was. But I was pleasantly surprised that if they are using time of day to determine even for non-Teslas, then the whole argument that Tesla's there to, screw non-Tesla drivers and all the rest of it just doesn't hold up in this case.
Yeah, I guess it depends where you go. John X is confirming us. I just checked Gold Coast is 62 cents flat rate for non-Tesla. That's so cheap. That's what Riz is saying. And 46 cents for Tesla. So that's super cheap. That's really, really good, actually, 46 cents. I don't know why other publications don't write about this, right? They seem to only write about when the charging is more expensive than petrol. But now that it's so much cheaper, where are the articles? I guess only bad news sells. Anyway, side note. Scott's saying, Riz, Runaway Bay is 46 cents in Tesla app as well. So he's confirming that for you.
Cool.
All right. And Charles is saying there was a Supercharger price drop a few days ago. Happened pretty quietly. Didn't see it reported anywhere. Most are now 50 to 60 cents approximately. Okay.
Hey.
Interesting. Now, actually interesting too, Riz, that 1st of May today, all my what do you call it? My status points or my credit points for Tesla has been wiped. Well, I can't see it anymore, how many points I've got from my referrals. And it looks like my miles are going to expire in like 6 days. So I'm a bit sad now. I have to pay for supercharging like everyone else. First world problem, right? It's been a good run. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, that's it, right? The referral program is suspended for now?
Yeah, it's supposed to come back in some shape, way, or form, but what's going to happen to all the stuff you're supposed to have in your piggy bank? It's not there anymore.
Maybe it's a chance just to wipe everyone clean again. Who knows? Yeah. Tesla can do whatever they want. It's their company.
Bigger and better.
Yeah,
on its way. That's what Elon was saying.
Or is it smaller than Lena with a charging team?
Well, maybe that's why I'm getting discounted price at Runaway Bay. Because
that's right. You don't have to pay the staff anymore. Okay, so it's just a Queensland thing, Riz. So Jason's saying Raymond Terrace, New South Wales, 91 cents.
Wow.
And Tailem Ben in South Australia is 92 cents as well. Interesting. It's very, very random. Scott saying Chatswood Supercharger. Is there a Supercharger in Chatswood? I don't think there was. Time-based. Maybe it's Macquarie. Is that what you're saying? Oh no, Victoria too. Box Hill in Victoria is now 52 cents per kilowatt hour. Definitely cheaper. And yeah, Stan saying for non-Tesla owners, 62 cents as well on the Gold Coast. Okay, thanks everyone for keeping us up to date. Appreciate that. Let's stick with Tesla just quickly. One more thing to share, and that is the software update 2024.14.3 will be released in Australia, I imagine, pretty shortly. Evan was a early receiver this afternoon, I think, or this morning, or yesterday. And this is the new interface that we've been seeing outside of Australia. So that's definitely coming. And I think the adaptive headlights are coming as well, the high beams coming to non-Highland vehicles, at least those cars with matrix lights anyway. So I'll test that out for you guys when I do get that update. Exciting times. Okay, and also, Rob S., thank you, Rob, for posting this. So for the non-Highland vehicles, this new update will also release the new auto park feature and use high-fidelity park assist for cars with ultrasonic sensors too. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so sticking with charging. So this was interesting, Riz, I saw this week. So Polestar and StoreDot's EV fast charging breakthrough, 10% to 80% in 10 minutes. Oh my goodness, that's too quick, surely.
It's way too fast. Look, StoreDot's been working on this stuff for a long time, and kudos to them. I know they're trying to find a very innovative solution to charging and doing a lot of testing and working with brands. I guess to your earlier point, Tom, how fast is too fast? That is too fast, unless it's being used in some sort of a race environment. Secondly, if it is the case, then there's technologies like battery swap and all of those things that are quicker than this. If people were really that time poor where they can't wait for 15 minutes is too much of a wait for a fast charge on a road trip where you have to stop, then 10 minutes is very few people would actually be looking for that specifically in a vehicle. And I don't know if it's going to help Polestar sell more cars.
No, that's a very good point. I don't think it will either. But for those who don't know, StoreDot is a company that uses silicon-based lithium-ion batteries. I think it's XFC battery. That's what it's called. And it's like the breakthrough type of technology, as you can see here. That's very fast charging. I don't know what the range or how big the battery was for this test. Let me see if I can find information here about that test. We may not see it, but they certainly used a 350 kilowatt charger. And there's evidence there of 362 kilowatts of power, so that's pretty quick. Again, I don't know how big this battery was that did this test, but 10 minutes, I mean, there will be a very fringe section of the community that want that quicker speed. It's probably someone who is maybe a sales rep or someone in some sort of industry where they need to get somewhere very quickly. There's some sort of urgent product. They can't even wait 5-10 minutes to charge the car. So, I mean, maybe it might appeal to some people, it's going to be more expensive, I would have thought, for that kind of speed, but it might be worth it for someone who needs that.
Ambos,
yes.
And fire trucks. And if we can get
Fireys.
emergency services into these, then that would be awesome.
Medical equipment, urgent blood collection, whatever, blood products. So, yeah, I think there's a place for this. I mean, for me personally, now that my kids are older, I may not need to stay as long. They don't need to be entertained as much. But I think 15 minutes would be quite sweet now in my stage of life. If I'm driving on a road trip, I can, certainly go to the bathroom, grab a drink, grab a snack, and then, either move the car somewhere else or just get back on the road again. So I think once we hit 15 minutes, like for example, what's the battery called from China? From Cattle?
Yeah, there's a couple.
The name again. Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Shenzhen.
That's it. Something like that. So 15 minutes, I think they can promise. So that's pretty good, I think. 15 minutes might sway a lot of people to change over. So we'll see what's happening. Yep, Rowan agrees. 15 minutes is perfect. Yeah, I get that a lot too. Yep, I can fill in 6 minutes. Well, yeah, that's true. Okay, Scott's saying it's they could use a 78 kilowatt hour battery. That's not bad. That's a pretty good battery, pretty sizable. Okay, and Steven says, I don't mind waiting for a car to charge. Good to see what's around town. Excellent. Jeanette saying, every EV troll I've spoken to has claimed that slow charging times is one of the main reasons they are against EVs. Yep, they always find something to be against EVs for. That's just one reason. When will it come to market? I don't know, Shalandra. Be good to test that, wouldn't it? And Kangaroo is saying, I don't mind 20 minutes after a 300 to 400 kilometers on the highway. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Up to 400 Ks, I'd want a longer break too. Yep. I'm surprised your bladder can last that long, Stan. That's very impressive, I've got to say. I need to stop before that. Okay, let's move on. And yep, Billy is saying that, not sure if you guys discussed this for Riz and myself, but BP Pulse chargers are now showing up on the map as grayed out charging icons in Australia. So I think this is a recent update that Tesla is allowing third-party DC chargers to show up on the infotainment screen. So that's good to see. Which brings me now to this story. Yes, this story. So Tritium. We sort of reported this over the last year. Red flags up everywhere, but it's looking official more and more so now. Insolvent and into receivership, which is kind of a sad day for an Aussie company. Riz, we kind of saw this on the wall, right? Writing was on the wall in the last year. As EV owners, we know they're not the most reliable type of chargers, and now this is kind of the end product.
Well, it's there's probably many Harvard Business School case studies to be written on this sort of stuff as to what happened, what could have been prevented, how things went the way they went. I personally have my opinions that they grew too quickly, went to the States, forgot about where they started, and that's where the reliability issues were, and part supply and all the other things that came with it. With first generation product, any product is not always great. And they were probably never designed, like the older Tritium units were never designed to be still hanging around at a time where EV uptake is increased by 8 to 10 folds, and then they didn't back it up with parts. And then when they stopped or they had job losses at Murray in Queensland, from there on in, things were a bit shaky. Hopefully whoever they've appointed can sort of help them navigate through whatever challenges they've got, and that it lives on, maybe even under a different brand, but we'll find out.
I think leaving Australia was like a huge red flag for me, right? The fact that it started here and they had to pull out, which means that they were really pleasing their shareholders. Like their bottom line was key to them rather than looking after their customers. I mean, any EV owner who's been around for the last 5 years will know Tritium is a big issue. They're not reliable, especially the first early generation ones. Even the new ones, some of them just, my heart would sink coming into a Tritium charger, which is a shame because they were in the market early on. So this is concerning too for those with those early generation chargers, Riz, because what's going to happen now? Will there be parts available for repairs, for maintenance? So this is going to affect uptime, surely. Very concerning. Yeah, Jason says they tried to expand too big, too fast, undercut prices too much. I agree. Yeah, Shalendra, I agree with you. RACV saw the writing on the wall and changing over to Kempower, smart move. We have said this before. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your stock, for sure. Yep, Gaffer. Tritium reaped what they sow. Their product rep was through the floor. Peter says, Tritium always sold their factory seconds locally and exported the good ones, always, same as many Australian exporters. It's funny because, we had good reviews from overseas, I think. I think Robert Llewellyn might have been one of them to say that Tritium was a good brand when he tested them in the UK. So, yeah, it's kind of very different from what our experience has been here anyway. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on Tritium, see what happens. Yep, thank you, Nero. You also pointed that out on X as well about what's going to happen to Tritium. Here's an example of a few charging places with Tritium. So we know EV uses them a lot. There's one in Penrith there with the Polestar charging. There's a BP Pulse. I think BP Pulse pretty much uses Tritium in Australia. I don't think they use much else. There's an old generation Tritium, the Tritium V-fills. They're the problematic ones. And this is, I think, Cooma, the Snowy Hydro scheme area where the ChargeFox Tritium is. Are there any non-tritium 350 kilowatt chargers in Australia, Riz?
I think there are some ABB ones.
Oh, yes.
There are some ABB ones. A couple of Porsche dealers have them. Audi. I think who else? I may be wrong, but I think RACV had them at Torquay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very few.
You're right. Barnawartha North on the border, New South Wales, Victoria, which I think are being replaced from memory.
Yeah.
That story broke a few weeks ago. Keep an eye on that. Okay, which brings me to this beautiful picture here from Stan. Kangaroo Island is watching tonight. I can see in the chat. So this is the Nullarbor Roadhouse with the NRMA DC fast chargers. I think these are Tritium as well, unfortunately. But this is, I think these are the ones with the backup diesel generator. So there's a beautiful picture of his Polestar right there. And a lovely solar canopy too. Nice picture. And I think he's also got a picture of, there we go, a drone shot of the Roadhouse itself. Isn't that lovely? Blue sky, horizon, straight road, truck stop. There's the Roadhouse. And there's the charger next door. Lovely pic.
Awesome.
Thank you, Stan. Beautiful. Thank you, Charles, for confirming this. So you were right. Riz, Torquay, Euroa, and Barnawartha North. There we go. ABB chargers there. And there's one more shot from Stan. There he is there. With the Model 3 next door. Awesome. And yes, check out Stan's YouTube channel as well. Kangaroo Island. He's got his adventures posted up, on his YouTube channel. And Richard saying, makes me want to cross the Nullarbor again. Yeah. A few of you guys have done this trip, including Richard, so awesome. Wayne's asking, is any early EV sales data in April? Probably not yet, right? We'll get the VFAX data soon.
Yeah, we should have something by Friday. Having said that, if I wasn't at the conference and sorting out Bonza's future, then I would have definitely checked. So yeah, sorry, Vane, I'll let you and the team down, but have something more definitely a lot more next week.
No, not at all, Riz. You've done a lot for this channel, so thank you. Yeah, I'm sure Riz will have something up for us very shortly about that. Now, this is what I want to share. So check this out. This is a F-150 Lightning attempting to charge at a Tesla Supercharger. I think this might be in Queensland, correct me if I'm wrong. But so the story is that Ford is not officially bringing the F-150 right-hand drive to Australia. These are being converted from left-hand drive into the right-hand drive by a company called Oz EV, I think, correct if I'm wrong.
Oz EV, yeah.
Oz EV, yep. And they're doing their own dealership network as well. So I'm not sure if this was successful or not, but this was certainly a picture of it trying to charge. Certainly done some testing here, looking pretty dirty there. And it's a left-hand side port. So that's why I had to do this weird parking job, because it won't fit in a V3 spot with those short cables. And there it is there as well. There's a big frunk, big storage area. 4X something. What else would you put in there? Must be in Queensland. So yeah, that's cool. So I'm fingers crossed. Hopefully I'll be able to see one of these in the flesh when they do come down to Sydney. So keep an eye out for that on the channel too. Here we go. Post from Waska saying F-150 Lightning spotted at a Tesla Supercharger. They're trying to get it to work with a non-Tesla charging, but haven't had any luck yet. So yep. Here we go. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, here we go. That's Lewis. Yeah, it wasn't successful at Rochdale. I believe this is Lewis's son who posted this, because he said that earlier. So thank you for that. What do you reckon, Riz? Can Bonza and Tritium merge?
Oh, look, there's opportunities everywhere at the moment.
What do we call it? Bonzium? Tritza? So many possibilities.
Oh no! I really hope a lot of these organizations do find, do get a second chance, and partnering with the right type of organization can help them grow. I guess we'll see.
Yep. Wow, look at this. Gaffer's been a member for 30 months. That's an incredible honor. I hadn't realized we've been streaming for that long. That's what, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Gaffer. You're a legend. 240 watching. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. Helps the channel grow. It really does. I don't say this often, but it does help the algorithm. All the content creators talk about this, but it does help the channel. So thank you, Gaffer, for saying that. Yeah, Bonzium. Jason likes that. Bonzium. Let's do it. Two companies with bad governance. Can they work synergistically? We'll see. Lewis is saying the beer was for a demo the next day, apparently. That beer that we saw in the F-150 frunk. Very cool. Yeah, Steven's saying $250,000. Okay. I'm not sure how much is an F-150 in Australia? 150?
Yeah, the base model is 225.
Oh, is it really?
The second variant, I think that's possibly got a bigger battery. That's 250 grand.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the ICE. I was asking about the ICE variant. Sorry. The ICE version. Yeah.
I think the ICE version it's over 100, 110, 115.
Let's have a look. 106,950 before on roads. 2023 F-150. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, and people are liking your charts, Riz. They definitely want you.
We'll
love
make
me
it
some
happen.
Riz charts. Cool. Beer powered F-150. Hey, eat your heart out, XFC. Beer powered F-150. Yeah, I hope it charges at a non-Tesla CCS2 charger. Yes, that's a good test, Shalendra. Good question. Good comment. Cool. All right, let's keep pushing on. So, here we go. This is the ad from the guys from Oz EV. The storm is coming. F-150 Lightning. April 22nd. Hang on, that was last week. That's right. We weren't here last week. Absent. All right, so more EV spotted. Okay, so this was sent to me by Dieter, one of our viewers. The Cyberster, another type of cyber vehicle spotted last week at BP Pulse Tumbi Umbi in Central Coast, New South Wales. There it is, next to a Model Y.
Hey.
So apparently, I mean, this is quite a long vehicle, Riz. I thought it'd be smaller than this. If it's as long as a Model Y, it's not an MX-5 at all. It's much bigger.
I think it's slightly, it's not MX-5 length. I think it's bigger. But yeah, maybe that picture's taken a bit closer. But yeah, it would probably be the same size as the Model 3 or Model Y in terms of its length.
Some comments about this arrow indicators. I think they're meant to signify the Union Jack, kind of a nod to of course, the British history of MG. It's getting some mixed comments there, so I don't mind it. I mean, if they're used, for a start, at least you know which way where it's going.
So UK pricing is out, starting at 55,000 pounds. So if we're lucky, we will get it under 80 grand.
55k. It's almost 100 Aussie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. If we could get it for 80 grand, 90 grand, interesting. I'd see. Will it sell? That's the question, right? So what else is in the roadster market at the moment in Australia for EVs? Nothing.
But I guess the question sort of is as well around, would someone pay 80 grand for an MG?
That is the question. Given the MG4 starts at 40 grand, MG ZS around the same, 45. It's a big ask. Even the X-Power is 59. It's a big jump up.
Yeah, the X-Power is I think, really good value car.
Yes.
If they could hopefully improve the software, the infotainment system software and the screen. But apart from that, it's an excellent car.
It is.
This is supposed to be, taking that to next level. 60, if they get it at 80, possibly there's some buyers, but anything more than that is just too far-fetched. It's we're then approaching BMW Z4 money and Toyota Supra and that sort of, that's around about 100. But yeah.
And Mercedes equivalent, what's a soft top convertible? C60, is there something like that?
They used to have I think a CLK, SLK, but no, not they don't have anything anymore. They do have sort of C-class convertibles.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if we get this, I mean, I'm hoping David from MG's watching this. We've got to test this out, Riz, surely. A long road trip somewhere, like we did with the
Very
MG4.
cool.
Yeah, soft top down,
So,
sunscreen on. But check this out, 3 screens. Like, seriously, it feels like a Formula 1 car.
there's
all
a
the
fourth one
screens.
down there as well.
Oh, yeah, little one here, yeah. Is it going to be like a Porsche where it's an option? You pay for that extra screen? It's a big gear lever. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully not too far away.
Very cool.
Thank you, Adida, for sending that. Yeah, so Oscreamer is saying they'll sell enough. It's not a volume seller like the BZ4X. What? The BZ4X is meant to be a volume seller? I don't know about that. Surely not. Yeah, Greg, good point. Imagine telling someone in 2005 that in 2024, someone would be buying a $100,000 Kia. Oh, come on, Kia's a different company now. They're beautiful cars. I was sitting in an Uber, an older generation Kia Carnival from like 15 years ago the other day. It's just not in the same league as the Kias these days. Like, seriously, it's like a different company. Like, that's not a great car. But this one, I think these cars are now from Kia. So something's happened. Yes, Gaffer, good point. Let's talk about that briefly. So, new noise emitter law coming for Australian EVs. Yes, I saw that too this week on X. What do you think, Riz? Is that a necessary thing for EVs? Should we have that in Australia?
Look, I think there needs to be a level of harmonization amongst different countries for these vehicles. And I guess if Europe says yes, then we should probably be doing the same thing. Having said that, I do like that some of the earlier Teslas don't make the noise. But then again, if we really wanted the noise, we would be getting the Abarth 500.
Oh my god, that thing was disgraceful. So bad, that noise.
And it's look. I think if it becomes sort of a Europe and more of a global thing, then I think we should.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be the quality of the noise too. Like, I think the hum in the Tesla Model Ys and the 3s is not bad. It sounds like a very loud hairdryer. Even the new Seal noise is not bad. I assume the Atto 3 is the same. They've changed the noise. It's much better than the old ice cream truck noise. Yeah, so I think the low pedestrian sound noise is fine. In a car park, people who are hearing impaired, young children, or even just people in general who are used to hearing a noise of a car, it's probably good to have as a safety reason. I don't think there should be a law at high speed. I think it's ridiculous. But low speed, I think, might be a case worth talking about. But then again, some people, Riz, like, no matter what you do, they're not going to hear you, right? No matter how loud the noise is. They're distracted, so you can't help those people, unfortunately. Yeah, has this been... Well, I'm not sure about incidents from EVs yet, but do we have to wait for an incident, I guess? That's the thing, right? Is it sometimes better to prevent these things happening? So, good point there, Gaffer. Yeah, Atto 3 playing classical music when going slow. It used to be a very like ice cream truck kind of noise. I'm not sure whether it's been fixed with the update. Now the Ford Mustang, which I reviewed last week, that's coming out on the channel, had a pretty good, not bad engine noise. And if you really want a Mustang grunt, the noise is internal. It doesn't actually transmit outside. So you hear the grunt inside the cabin. You're not going to annoy anyone else. So, interesting concept. Okay, let's quickly move on. And we've got a few more left to talk about. So this one, Riz, this is the article about the Tesla owner, I think in Melbourne. I think was this the one with the tram crash or injured someone on a tram track? Yeah. Walk us through this one.
Like, I can't remember the exact incident, but I believe there was someone that got hurt very badly because they came off a tram, and sort of the Tesla that was being driven by this lady here did collide with the person coming off the tram, and then it was a bit of a hit and run, but this lady did eventually come back to the scene of the crash, but in the beginning she was blaming the autopilot system, and Tesla's telemetry data sort of says otherwise. That autopilot was not engaged in 30 seconds prior to the crash, and apparently the system itself, the car system, detected there was someone getting off the tram. So yeah, it's a sad story, but reality is that why would you lie about this sort of situation, and why would you you should stop as soon as an incident like this has occurred. But yeah, and at that time, every media outlet covered it, saying Tesla does blah blah blah. And I remember after this happened, I was driving in Melbourne's CBD quite slowly, and I let a lady cross the road. So sometimes in slow sort of roads, you let someone cross the road by just stopping the car and letting them go. And she was adamant she didn't want me to run her over. And I was like, I don't think this is supposed to work this way if someone's letting you go. But people were genuinely fearful of Teslas because of these sort of stories.
I mean, this is very disappointing. I'm glad, there's enough telemetry from Tesla to work out what actually happened. The fact that autopilot was engaged, as you said, Riz, and the car actually itself triggered the emergency brakes and stopped this person on this pedestrian from being hit and really badly damaged or injured. So yeah, I'm glad the truth has prevailed. The fact that she sped away after the crash, I guess that's sort of states her guilt in some way. And I think someone said, here we go, Billy Lid said the partner brought her back to the scene of the accident, so she had to be brought back to front justice. So, I mean, it makes sense not to speed around trams anyway, right? I think that might be law in Victoria.
Yeah, but particularly like you're supposed to stop. If a tram is stopping, you're supposed to stop behind the tram and let everyone getting off the tram cross the road. And when the tram is ready to go, then it will stop flashing. That means it's safe for you to sort of come up next to the tram and overtake it, or be sort of driving along it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's sad, but at the same time, I'm glad that Tesla is able to back that up with the right sort of data, where I don't know how many other manufacturers would do the same thing.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I'm glad justice was served on this occasion. Okay, so just quickly, thank you, SK, for tagging me. A couple of Tesla Ubers here in Taipei, Taiwan, but here is Luxgen N7 caught.
Yeah, that's the local Taiwanese electric car.
Right. Very minimalistic as well, right? Big screen, vertical screen, couple of things on the dash, on the steering wheel. Interesting. Cool. Is this only confined to Taiwan? Doesn't go anywhere else? This Luxgen? It's not exported anywhere else?
I haven't heard of it being offered anywhere else.
Cool. Thanks, viewers. I really appreciate this. They tag us, Riz, on social media. I'm happy to always post these. So if you're watching, guys and girls, if you see anything interesting on the roads, just tag us. We'll show it like this on our streams. So appreciate that. Okay, a couple more things. So look at this. Mark tagged me as well. So this is a ship with 50,000 kilowatt hours of battery on the open waters, hauling stuff. How cool is this?
Wow.
Who says batteries can't do long range? There it is right there. Maiden voyage from Shanghai on April 22nd.
Wow.
It's cool, huh? So, yeah, for those who are listening to the podcast, 120-meter long ship, and it's just vision of the containers being unloaded. Very cool. All right, well, it's good to see. Batteries can do long range. And finally, This is news from last week when we were away. So for those who are looking to buy EVs with the Novated leasing, the Australian government is providing a shortcut method to determine the cost of electricity for your EV home charging rate of 4.2 cents per kilometer. That's kind of the standard rate. It's a very auspicious number there, 4.2 cents per kilometer to determine your expenses. So that's what do you reckon? 4.2 cents. That's cheaper than a lot of tariffs out there for EV charging, but at least it's something.
Yeah, it's what is that? Is that $4.20 per 100 kilometers?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that's sort of that. The couple of those electricity providers are putting their offers out. Charge at night from midnight to 6 a.m. at 4 cents or 5 cents or 8 cents a kilowatt hour. So yeah, this is to claim expenses. At least there's some clarity.
Yeah, I guess where it might be difficult is if you need to charge at a DC fast charger. That's definitely not going to be 4.2 cents. So that might not be able to be enough to cover your expenses. But for home charging, certainly is useful anyway. Although it does say home charging, doesn't it, in the document? So okay. So has the EV? Good question for me. Which social media is best to tag me and Riz? So Riz and I are on X. Otherwise, I'm on what's it called? What's the Meta one? Threads. I'm on Threads as well. So Threads and X is probably easiest to tag us on. Then we can show it on the screen easier. Otherwise, no, we won't. Sensei's asking when are we going to get the $100 million podcast deal with Spotify? Then we can get the Spectre, because we'll be high net worth individuals then.
That's when it's coming.
Yeah. So once Riz clears the Bonza deal and then merges with Tritium, then I'll be a shareholder too. So stay tuned, everyone.
It's happening.
It's happening. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Jason. You do tag me on X. So very, very helpful. We'll show them too, as you've seen tonight, everyone. Cool. All right. Well, Riz, we might actually leave it there for now. So thank you once again for joining us tonight from your your luxury hideaway in the Gold Coast this evening.
Yeah, that's right. Some call them the Cayman Islands, but no, good to be on. We've had a week off, but we're back on. There's just so much cool stuff, and yeah, all the audience, keep doing what you're doing. Find something, tag us, send it through. The more people we can sort of share this stuff with, the more likely the next car will be an EV. So awesome stuff, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well done. Well said, Riz. And yes, this is the People's Show. You are the people, and we are your hosts. 230 viewers tonight, I saw too, live, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, this is quarter 2, 2024. Lots to talk about as always, Riz. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. This is the EV Show on Ludicrous Feed. Thank you, Riz. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. And as always, happy charging. Take care.